What's up everybody, Goody Beats here, and today we're going to talk about testing ketones. One of the coolest thing in my opinion about the ketogenic diet is like one of the only diets out there that you can actually test to see if you're doing it correctly. So if you're just starting the ketogenic diet, you're probably wondering, why do you need to be in ketosis? Well, when you're in a state of ketosis, that's when all the benefits happen, the mental clarity, the fat loss. So you want to be in a state of ketosis to get all the benefits from the ketogenic diet. A lot of people think by just eating low carb, you're gonna get in a state of ketosis, and that's not always true. There are a lot of factors on why you won't get into ketosis. One reason being your fat intake's not high enough. Another reason, your protein intake is way too high. And if you guys know me, you know me personally, I love keto treats, and unfortunately eating a lot of keto treats with a lot of hidden sugars, a lot of hidden carbs are gonna stop you from getting into that ketosis state. So the good news is that there are many ways to test if you're in ketosis or not, and that's what I'm gonna go over with you guys today. So the first way to measure is checking ketones in your urine, but this method can be misleading. Keto Strips tests a molecule called ketoacetate. Now technically these are excess ketones that your body isn't using. Now it is possible that your body is spilling excess ketones into your urine which your body is not using. The readings on the strips can vary depending on your water intake. If your water is too high, it's gonna just totally give you a totally different reading if your water was too low. One thing I get a lot of messages from people saying, hey, what happens when my pee strip is a dark purple? Do I need to be concerned? And I would say, no, you don't need to be concerned. It's probably that you're not drinking enough water. So they're not as accurate, but the convenience thing about them is that they're very cheap and easy to use. So how do you use the urine strips? Well, they're pretty simple. What you're gonna do, take the urine strip out of the bag, take it to the bathroom, pee on it, and depending on what color it gives you, you're gonna measure it to the back of the packaging, and if it's a darker color, that's good, you're in ketosis. If it's a lighter, don't panic. It's showing that you're not in ketosis, but again, there's many factors. Maybe your water intake was way too high, so don't panic, but again, that is how you use a urine strip. So one thing I like about the Keto Coach pee strips is that they come in this very convenient packaging, so I can put them in my backpack, put them in my gym bag, and they come in a pack of 90, and all pee strips expire after 90 days, and they give you 90, so you can test every single day. Other companies will send you like 250 pee strips. Who's gonna pee 250 times in 90 days? Like, that's just way too much. Those, more than half of those pee strips are just gonna go to waste. That's why I recommend the Keto Coach pee strips, 90 strips for 90 days. Now, the second and most accurate way to test if you're in ketosis or not is testing your blood. So this is a method that I use when I check if I'm in ketosis or not. I use the Keto Coach blood ketone meter. The reason why it's so accurate because the Keto Coach measures a molecule called a BHB. And the BHB is actually in your blood. So when you're checking for ketones with the Keto Coach, it's gonna give you a reading from anywhere from 0.1 to 8.0. One of the biggest questions I get is, what number should I be aiming for, Logan, when I'm testing for ketones? So what I always tell people is that you wanna aim from 0.5 to 3.0, and that's gonna be your nutritional ketosis zone. Now, I will say this, and this is very important. So everybody's body is different and responds differently to keto. So don't compare your range to someone else's range. Now, for me personally, you know I've talked about this before. I've never been one of the types to have really high ketones. I've never been in like really deep ketosis, like 3.0 and higher. I've always ranged from 0.5 to 1.0. Now, does that not mean that I'm not burning fat? No, that's just the way my body reacts to ketones and ketosis. Whereas I get messages from people showing me that they get to 3.2 very easy. So everybody's different. Now, I will say this, if you're type 1 diabetic and you're reading any ketones in the blood, I would recommend you go speak to a doctor. So if you're getting a reading over 3, that doesn't necessarily mean you're burning more fat. What you really truly want to aim for is anything over 0.5 and 3.0. That's the range you want to be in. Anywhere in between, that's the fat burning zone. That's what you want to aim for. So just because you're getting a higher reading, 3.0 and higher, doesn't necessarily mean you're burning more fat. So I'm going to go over how I use my Keto Coach. So you're going to take out one of these strips right here. As you can see, they're individually packaged and sealed, which is going to help with accuracy. So we'll open it on right here, just like so. I'm going to pull it out. Okay, so here is the strip. This is what you're going to put your blood on, and you're going to stick this into the Keto Coach. Just like so. Boom. So you're ready to go. So next you'll pick up your lancing device right here. You're gonna pull this back. Now, one thing I like about the Keto Coach is that it's a very high quality lancing device. This is like the, I would say, Mercedes-Benz of lancing devices. They have these little points right here at the end that helps with masking the pain. I get it, a lot of people don't like to poke themselves. That's why a lot of people don't like to test their ketones, but I promise you, this lancing device really masks the pain. It doesn't hurt at all. Let me just show you how simple it is. You're gonna pull this thing back right here, and then you're gonna push this button on your finger, so like so. I'm gonna do it right here. Boom. And one other thing I have to say is before you test, you wanna make sure your hands are super clean so you get an accurate reading. So I have my device right here. I have my finger right here, and then I'm going to put the blood on the end of the Keto Coach strip to get my accurate reading. So here I go. All right, wow, 0.2. So that's actually very, very interesting, and I knew it, I absolutely knew it. So let me tell you why it's very important to be checking your ketones. So this morning I went to Starbucks and got a coffee. The coffee is right here. This is a nitro brew. I absolutely love nitro brew coffees. When I ordered it, I ordered no classic and I ordered no caramel, as you can see right there. But when I tasted it, it definitely tasted sweet. I was kind of like, this tastes a little bit too sweet. And I kind of questioned it, but I said, you know what? It says no caramel and it says no sugar as well. But I just had a feeling it had some sugar in there. Now that's one of the things, that's why it's very important. As you can tell, I was right, my instinct was correct. I am not in ketosis right now. And the only thing I've had today was this nitro brew coffee, which was sweet, which I'm sure was with sugar. So that knocked me out of ketosis. So that's why it's very important to test. You know, a lot of people always ask me, hey, how many times did you test a week? You know, I like to test, you know, anywhere from 3 to 4 times a week, but you know, hey, this was a very good opportunity to test my ketones and prove that I was right. My gut was right, my instinct was right. When I tasted this coffee, I knew it was a little bit too sweet, and sure enough, it obviously had sugar in it. So I'm gonna go over a couple of reasons why you're not in ketosis. Number one, you're not tracking your macros. Ways to avoid this is that you can find a macro calculator. One I like to use is on ketogenic.com. You type in all your information and it will accurately give you your macros. Reason number two, hidden carbs. As you can see from my Starbucks cup, I thought it had sugar in it, and sure enough it did. Also, when you go to restaurants, you order food, maybe some salad, you get a salad dressing that you think is keto friendly, and sure enough it has sugar in it. And so hidden carbs is another reason why you could not be in ketosis. Reason number three is that your protein is just way too high and your fat intake is way too low. So if you're gonna have high protein, you gotta make sure that you have high fat as well. Reason number four is that you wanna make sure you have enough electrolytes. You wanna make sure you have magnesium, potassium, sodium, and calcium. So another reason is you're not getting enough fiber into your diet and you're just having way too many cheat meals a week. So it is important to check your blood ketones, and using a blood monitor is the most accurate way to test. Another question I get asked all the time is, when's the best time to test? What I always say is, whatever time you're gonna test, make sure you do the same time every single day with the same conditions consistently. Now that being said, you may wanna test if you ate something that was probably questionable, or maybe you ate something that tasted a little bit too sweet than it should have. That's always a good way to test. Again, like my Starbucks mistake, thought it was too sweet, and sure enough it was. One other question I get asked is after a workout, ketones are always a little bit lower than when they went into the workout. One reason for that is because during your workout, your body is using the ketones for energy. So of course, naturally, your ketones are always gonna be a little bit lower after a workout. Not to worry, your ketones will eventually rise back up. So another way to test for ketones is using a breath meter. What a breath meter tests for is a molecule called acetone. So one thing I will say about a breath meter is that there's not too much data out there, and they can be really, really pricey. I've seen some prices up in the $200 to $300 range. But if you look hard enough, you can probably find some for about $150. I know personally, if I'm gonna spend $150 to $200, I wanna make sure that that meter is as accurate as possible. And unfortunately, at this time, I just don't have enough information on the breath meters. And that leads me to my next point, and that's the cost of testing all three ways. So in my opinion, blood meters are the most accurate, the most value for your money. And with Keto Coach, the strips are only 59 cents a strip. And the last and final way is the urine strips, which is the most affordable, but not the most accurate compared to the blood meter. And a pack of urine strips you can probably get at CVS will cost you around $15. So there you go, guys. Those are all the 3 ways that you can test your ketones. I hope you did learn something from this video. If you need any more information, please head over to ketocoachx.com. We'll see you on the next video.